Have you ever noticed that even when you try to eat well, your body just doesn't feel the way it used to? Maybe you wake up feeling sluggish, like your energy is slipping away no matter how much you rest. Or perhaps you felt those little aches, that foggy mind, or even a sense that something's just off. You might think it's just part of getting older, but what if your body is trying to tell you something important, something you can actually do something about? Before we dive in, I'd love for you to share in the comments below your age and where you re-watching from. We're reading every single comment and responding, so don't be shy, let us know. Hello, I'm Dr. Hayato Shimizu, a physician specializing in care for older adults with over 20 years of experience. What breaks my heart most is seeing people slowly getting sicker, thinking they're doing everything right. Day after day, I meet patients who are vibrant, full of life, and determined to stay that way, but they're fighting an invisible battle. They're eating foods they've been told are healthy, following advice that sounds good on paper, yet their bodies are sending signals of distress. And the culprit? More often than not, it's sugar. Not just the obvious culprits like candy or soda, but the hidden sugars lurking in foods we've been taught to trust. Bread, pasta, even that healthy morning smoothie. These everyday choices could be quietly accelerating aging, draining energy, and setting the stage for chronic illnesses that creep up without warning. Let's take a step back and think about this together. Picture your body as a beautifully designed machine, one that's carried you through decades of life. It's resilient, but after 60, it starts to need a little more care, a little more attention to the fuel you give it. When your blood sugar spikes too often, it's like revving that engine too hard, too fast, for too long. Over time, the wear and tear starts to show. You might not feel it right away, but your body is sending signals. Maybe it's that stubborn weight that won't budge, the joint pain that flares up after meals, or the brain fog that makes it harder to focus. These aren't just random symptoms. They're your body's way of waving a flag saying, hey, something's not right here. But here's the thing. Most people don't realize how much certain foods, even the ones labeled as good for you, can drive those sugar spikes. Take Susan, a patient of mine in her late 60s. Susan was active, walked every morning, and prided herself on eating what she thought was a balanced diet. Oatmeal for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, and a pasta dinner with her family. Sounds familiar, right? But she came to me feeling exhausted, struggling with aches in her knees, and noticing her memory wasn't as sharp. She'd say, Dr. Shimizu, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. Why do I feel like this? After running some tests, we found her blood sugar was consistently higher than it should be. Not diabetic, but high enough to cause trouble. The kicker? It wasn't the desserts she rarely ate. It was the healthy carbs she relied on every day. Now, let's talk about why this matters. A study from the Mayo Clinic in 2023 showed that even in people without diabetes, frequent blood sugar spikes can increase inflammation in the body by up to 30%. Inflammation is like a slow-burning fire in your system. Over time, it damages blood vessels, strains your heart, and even speeds up the aging of your cells. That's right, aging. Those spikes aren't just making you tired today, they're quietly chipping away at your vitality tomorrow. And it's not just about feeling old. High blood sugar over time is linked to a higher risk of heart disease, memory problems, and even certain cancers. But what few people know is that these risks don't just come from sugary snacks. They come from foods you might be eating every single day thinking they're harmless. Let's walk through a scenario you might recognize. Imagine you start your day with a bowl of cereal or a slice of whole grain toast with jam. Maybe you grab a low-fat yogurt because it's marketed as heart-healthy. For lunch, a turkey sandwich on whole wheat bread, maybe with a side of fruit juice. Dinner might be a comforting plate of spaghetti with marinara sauce. None of this sounds terrible, right? But here's where the danger lies. Each of those meals, even the healthy ones, breaks down into sugar in your bloodstream faster than you might think. That whole grain bread, it can spike your blood sugar almost as much as white bread. That fruit juice, it's like drinking a can of soda in terms of sugar impact. And that yogurt, often packed with added sugars disguised as natural flavors. I had another patient, Robert, who loved his morning bagel. He'd say, Dr. Shimizu, it's just a bagel, not a donut. But when we looked at his diet, that bagel was sending his blood sugar soaring, leaving him crashing by mid-morning. Over time, those spikes were contributing to the stiffness in his joints and the extra pounds he couldn't shake. Robert wasn't alone. So many of us have been taught that certain foods are safe, even beneficial, but after 60, your body processes them differently. Your metabolism isn't as forgiving as it was in your 30s or 40s. And that's not your fault. It's just biology. Now, I'm not here to tell you to give up everything you love. This isn't about cutting out all carbs or living on salads for the rest of your life. It's about understanding what your body needs now, at this stage of life, to feel vibrant, strong, and clear-headed. You're not too old to change. You're just learning what really works for you after 60. And the good news? Small, conscious choices can make a massive difference. A 2022 study from Harvard Medical School found that people over 60 who reduced their intake of high glycemic foods like refined carbs saw improvements in energy, mood, and even blood pressure in as little as 2 weeks. 2 weeks? That's the power of listening to what your body is telling you. So, what's happening inside you when your blood sugar spikes? Let's break it down simply. When you eat foods that turn into sugar quickly, like bread, pasta, or even some fruits, your blood sugar rises fast. Your body releases insulin to bring it back down. But if this happens too often, your cells start to resist insulin signals. This is called insulin resistance, and it's like your body's engine getting gummed up. Over time, it leads to higher blood sugar levels, more inflammation, and a cascade of effects that can make you feel older than you are. You might notice it as fatigue, brain fog, or even those stubborn wrinkles that seem to deepen overnight. But what's really happening is your body is working overtime to keep up, and it's asking for your help. Let me share another story. Margaret, one of my patients, was 72 when she came to me. She was vibrant, loved gardening, and wanted to keep up with her grandkids. But she was struggling with weight gain and constant tiredness. She'd say, "Dr. Shimizu, I don't eat sweets, so why do I feel like this?" We looked at her diet, and there it was. Rice, potatoes, and crackers were staples. All foods she thought were fine. When we swapped some of those for lower glycemic options, like quinoa or roasted vegetables, and added more healthy fats like avocado, she felt like a new person in just a month. Her energy was back, her joints ached less, and she even said her skin looked brighter. That's the kind of change I want for you. The truth is, you don't have to overhaul your entire life to see results. It's about making smarter choices, one meal at a time. You're not just feeding your body, you're giving it the tools to thrive. And the best part? You're in control. Every bite is a chance to tell your body, "I'm listening, and I'm here to help." In the next part, we'll dive deeper into which specific foods might be silently harming you and what you can replace them with to feel stronger, sharper, and more alive. For now, think about this. What's one meal you eat every day that might be spiking your sugar without you realizing? Hold that thought, and let's keep this journey going together. So, we've been talking about how your body sends signals when your blood sugar is too high, signals you might be mistaking for just getting older. Those moments of fatigue, the aches that seem to come out of nowhere, or the brain fog that makes you pause mid-sentence. These aren't just quirks of aging. They're clues, little whispers from your body asking you to pay attention. And what I love about this journey we are on together is that it is not about blame or deprivation. It's about discovery, about learning what your body needs now to keep you vibrant and strong. Let's dive deeper into the foods that might be quietly working against you and how you can make choices that help you feel like yourself again. Or maybe even better. Picture this. You're at the grocery store, standing in front of a shelf of healthy options. Whole grain crackers, low-fat granola bars, maybe a box of instant oatmeal with those tempting fruit flavors. You've seen the labels, heart-healthy, high-fiber, all-natural. They sound like the right choices, don't they? But here's what most people don't know. Many of these foods, even the ones marketed as good for you, can send your blood sugar on a roller coaster. And after 60, your body feels those ups and downs more than it used to. It's not that these foods are evil. It is that they break down into sugar faster than your body can handle comfortably at this stage of life. Let's talk about why this happens. When you eat something like a slice of bread, even whole grain, your body breaks it down into glucose, the same sugar that's in a candy bar. The difference is in how fast it happens. A 2021 study from the National Institutes of Health found that many processed carbs, like bread, pasta, and cereals, cause blood sugar spikes in older adults that are nearly as sharp as sugary desserts. That spike triggers a flood of insulin, and over time, those constant surges can wear out your body's ability to manage sugar effectively. It's like asking your car to go from 0 to 60 over and over again. Eventually, the engine starts to strain. I remember a patient, Clara, who was 68 and loved her morning toast with a glass of orange juice. She'd say, "Dr. Shimizu, I've been eating this way for years, and it's never been a problem." But what she didn't realize was that her body's needs had changed. That toast and juice combo was spiking her blood sugar first thing in the morning, leaving her tired by noon and craving more carbs to keep going. It was a cycle she didn't even see. When we swapped her toast for a protein-rich breakfast, like eggs with avocado, and replaced the juice with water or unsweetened tea, she couldn't believe the difference. She told me, "I haven't felt this awake in years." That's what happens when you give your body the right fuel. Now let's get specific. What are some of these sneaky foods that might be causing trouble? First, there's bread, even the healthy kinds. Whole wheat, rye, even gluten-free options often have a high glycemic index, meaning they turn into sugar fast. Then there's pasta, another comfort food favorite. A small bowl of spaghetti can raise your blood sugar more than you'd expect, especially if it's paired with a sugary sauce. White rice is another one. It's a staple for so many, but it's like a sugar bomb in your bloodstream. And don't get me started on fruit juices or smoothies. Even the ones without added sugar are concentrated sources of fructose, which can overwhelm your system. But it's not just the obvious carbs. Let's talk about those healthy snacks, like granola bars or flavored yogurts. A 2024 study from Stanford University showed that many low-fat yogurts contain as much sugar as a dessert, often hidden under names like cane syrup or fruit concentrate. You might think you're doing your heart a favor, but you're actually stressing your body in a different way. And then there are potatoes, especially mashed or fried. They're comforting. Sure, but they can spike your blood sugar faster than a slice of cake. It's exactly where the danger lies, in the foods we don't suspect. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Dr. Shimizu, are you saying I can't eat any of my favorite foods? Not at all. This isn't about taking away the joy of eating. It's about finding balance and making swaps that work for you now. Let's take a moment to imagine a different kind of day. Instead of starting with cereal, you have a warm bowl of scrambled eggs with spinach and a sprinkle of cheese. For lunch, instead of a sandwich, you enjoy a colorful salad with grilled chicken, olive oil, and a handful of nuts for crunch. Dinner could be a piece of salmon with roasted broccoli and a small serving of quinoa. These foods don't just taste good. They keep your blood sugar steady, your energy high, and your body happy. I had a patient, George, who was 70 and loved his nightly bowl of ice cream. He thought giving it up would be impossible. But when we talked, we found a way to satisfy his sweet tooth without the sugar crash. He started having a small bowl of berries with a dollop of unsweetened Greek yogurt. Not only did he feel better, but he also lost a few pounds without even trying. That's the beauty of these changes. They don't feel like punishment. They feel like rediscovering what it means to feel good in your own skin. Here's something else to consider. It's not just about avoiding spikes. It's about what you're adding to your plate. Foods rich in fiber, healthy fats, and protein can slow down how quickly sugar enters your bloodstream. Think avocados, nuts, olive oil, fatty fish like salmon, or even eggs. A study from the Cleveland Clinic in 2023 found that older adults who increased their intake of healthy fats saw a 25% reduction in blood sugar spikes compared to those who stuck with low-fat diets. That's huge. It means you can eat delicious, satisfying meals and still protect your body from the wear and tear of high sugar. Let's pause for a second and reflect. What's one food you eat regularly that might be spiking your sugar? Maybe it's that morning muffin or the rice you pair with dinner. Just hold that thought. You don't have to change it today, but noticing it is the first step. And here's the encouraging part. You're not too old to make these changes. You're just at a point where your body is asking for a little more wisdom in how you nourish it. Every meal is a chance to say, I'm choosing to feel my best. In the next part, we'll talk about how to put this into action, with practical steps and a mindset that makes these changes feel natural, not forced. For now, think about one small swap you could try tomorrow. Maybe it's trading juice for water, or swapping rice for a veggie. Small steps, big impact. We've been on quite a journey together, haven't we? We've uncovered how your body sends signals when your blood sugar is too high, signals that might feel like tiredness, aches, or a foggy mind. We've explored how everyday foods, even the ones you thought were safe, could be quietly working against you, speeding up aging, draining your energy, and setting the stage for health challenges. But here's where this gets exciting. You have the power to change the story. You're not just along for the ride as you age. You're in the driver's seat, and every choice you make is a chance to feel stronger, sharper, and more alive. Let's talk about how to make that happen. Not with drastic overhauls, but with small, meaningful steps that fit into your life. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning feeling a little lighter, a little clearer, like the fog has lifted just enough to notice the difference. That's what happened to my patient Linda. who was 65 when she came to me. She was frustrated, feeling like her body was betraying her. She'd eat what she thought was a healthy breakfast, oatmeal with fruit and a glass of juice. But by mid-morning, she was dragging. Her joints ached, and she felt like she was losing the spark she'd always had. We looked at her diet and realized those healthy choices were spiking her blood sugar, leaving her in a cycle of crashes and cravings. Together, we made a plan, not to cut out everything she loved, but to choose foods that loved her back. Within weeks, she was walking taller, laughing more, and even keeping up with her grandkids at the park. That's what I want for you, a sense of possibility that comes from listening to your body. So, how do you start? Let's make this simple and real. First, think about your plate as a canvas. You're not erasing everything you love. You're adding colors that make it vibrant. Start with breakfast, often the sneakiest meal for blood sugar spikes. Instead of cereal, toast, or a bagel, try something with protein and healthy fats. Eggs with a handful of spinach and a slice of avocado are a great choice. Or maybe Greek yogurt unsweetened, with a sprinkle of nuts and a few berries. These foods don't just fill you up, they keep your blood sugar steady, so you're not crashing before lunch. A 2023 study from the University of California found that older adults who started their day with protein-rich meals had 20% fewer blood sugar spikes throughout the day. That's energy you can feel. For lunch and dinner, focus on balance. Fill half your plate with non-starchy vegetables, broccoli, zucchini, leafy greens, or cauliflower. These are like shock absorbers for your blood sugar, slowing down how quickly carbs hit your system. Add a palm-sized portion of protein, think chicken, fish, or tofu, and a small amount of healthy fats like olive oil or a slice of avocado. If you love carbs, and who doesn't, choose ones that don't spike your sugar as much. Swap white rice for quinoa or lentils. Instead of pasta, try zucchini noodles or a small serving of whole grain pasta mixed with veggies. It's not about cutting everything out, it's about understanding what your body needs now. Snacks are another place where things can go wrong. Those crackers or granola bars might seem harmless, but they're often loaded with hidden sugars. Try a handful of almonds, a hard-boiled egg, or some sliced cucumber with hummus. These keep you satisfied without the sugar roller coaster. And drinks, don't forget those. Water, unsweetened tea, or even a splash of lemon in sparkling water can replace sugary juices or sodas. Small changes like this add up. A 2024 study from Johns Hopkins showed that older adults who cut sugary drinks for just 1 month saw improvements in their energy and even their sleep quality. That's the kind of difference you can feel in your bones. Now, let's talk about mindset, because this isn't just about food, it's about how you see yourself. You're not too old to change. You're just learning what works for you at this stage of life. Think of every meal as a chance to invest in your future, in the energy to play with your grandkids, the clarity to enjoy your hobbies, the vitality to live life on your terms. I had a patient, James, who was 71 and skeptical about changing his diet. He loved his nightly bowl of rice and potatoes. But when he started swapping those for roasted sweet potatoes or cauliflower mash, he noticed his joints didn't ache as much. He told me, "Dr. Shimizu, I didn't realize how much better I could feel until I tried." That's the moment I live for, when someone discovers they're not stuck. Here's a practical tip to get started. Pick one meal this week to tweak. Maybe it's breakfast. Swap that cereal for eggs or yogurt with nuts. Notice how you feel a few hours later. Do you have more energy? Less brain fog? That's your body saying, "Thank you." Then try another meal. You don't have to do it all at once. Small, conscious choices build momentum. And don't be afraid to experiment. If you love pasta, try mixing it with veggies and a protein to slow the sugar spike. If you crave something sweet, reach for berries or a square of dark chocolate, 70% or higher. These aren't sacrifices, they're upgrades. Let's address the elephant in the room. Change can feel hard. You've been eating a certain way for decades, and habits are like old friends, comfortable, familiar. But here's the truth. You're stronger than your habits. You've navigated so much in life, raising families, building careers, overcoming challenges. This is just another step, and you're ready for it. Start small, celebrate the wins, and lean on your community. Share your journey with a friend, a spouse, or even with us in the comments. You'd be amazed how much support comes from saying, "I'm trying something new." As we wrap up, I want you to picture yourself a month from now. You're waking up with more energy, feeling less stiff, maybe even noticing your skin looks a little brighter. That's not a fantasy. It's what happens when you listen to your body and make choices that honor it. You're not just preventing disease. You're reclaiming your vitality, your spark, your ability to live life fully. And it starts with one choice, one meal, one day. You're in control, and that's a beautiful thing. Before we go, I'd love to hear from you. If you've made it this far, comment below and tell us one health challenge you're facing. It might just inspire our next video. Share your age, where you're watching from, and what you're ready to try. We're here, reading every comment, cheering you on. You're not alone on this journey. Let's keep moving forward together, one conscious choice at a time.